6th grade class. How's everybody doing today? Okay, good, great, that's awesome. So, today we're going to be talking about precipitation. What does this mean? Jacob, what does precipitation mean? You're right, it means rainfall. Let's explore this topic a little bit. Now, precipitation begins when we have cold and warm air masses colliding, which are represented right here. Now, cold air masses are denser than warm air masses, which results in the warm air masses to rise. As it's rising, temperature is decreasing and pressure is decreasing. It's also important to note that the warm air mass has a higher moisture content than cold water does, or cold air masses do. Now, why is this important? Well, now we're going to be talking about a process called humidity and how this relates to this. So, humidity, or shall I begin with absolute humidity, relates to the amount of water that is currently held in the air, or moisture that's in the air. We divide this by the saturated humidity, which deals with the amount of water in the air that can be held by the current temperature. So temperature is directly proportional to this value. When we multiply this by 100, we have something called relative humidity. Which is the value that you would see if you were to log on to your weather app on your phone, or if the Weather Channel was talking about humidity, they're talking about relative humidity. Now, there's something interesting that happens about all these values. This is represented as a percentage, by the way. This value can exceed 100%. Crazy. It can be 104, it could be 110, it could be 185. Probably not, but it could be. Now, what exactly does that mean? What does it mean when the relative humidity is over 100%? This means that precipitation is going to occur because the dew point, which is the temperature at which the air mass cannot hold water anymore, has been exceeded. When this happens, we have precipitation. That's all really interesting stuff, but let's talk about it in another context. Let's talk about a type of precipitation called orographic precipitation. This is a real-world example that I feel like you guys will have a better understanding of. Deals with mountains or land that is past the mountains and the ocean. So this side is going to be called the windward side, and this side is going to be called the leeward side. Now, basically, if you've ever been to an ocean, you've realized that maybe it's more cloudy than you'd expected, like if you're at the beach. This is because condensation is constantly happening from the ocean. Now, prevailing winds are pushing these clouds over to the land that's close to the sea. But these prevailing winds cannot make it past, or at least with the clouds, over these mountain ranges. This results in precipitation by these clouds because they've exceeded the dew point. Now, when these prevailing winds finally make it back over here, there's no more moisture left in the air, the winds, which results in very dry climate. This is a cactus, by the way, a very poor cactus. One example of this is in Washington State. Western Washington, which includes Seattle, Bellingham, Tacoma, all of those areas, is the rainiest place geographically in the continental US. They exceed somewhere between 250 to 300 days of rainfall a year. Meanwhile, eastern Washington, which includes places such as Pullman, Spokane, Yakima, have little moisture. They're very dry